Okay, so I'm not even gonna stitch that child's video. But everybody is talking about this Donnie situation. Donnie is a feminine gay man who presents really like a woman. I mean, to me, when people say femme presenting, that's pretty much saying presenting as a woman. Let's just keep it real, okay? Like, femme presenting is just code to me. Is you're dressing like a woman, like a binary woman, okay? It's a play on words. It's a play on perception. And to me, I have so many different feelings about it. And I've been saying for years that these gay men are, it's not so much about liberation. Because even in my day, when I was coming up, yes, we had femme-presenting gay men, but not to this degree. Now, and not for nothing, I will say that is a pretty man. Donnie if you're watching this, if you ever see this video, you're a beautiful, beautiful man. Okay? You remind me of Jermaine Stewart. You know, the song, we don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. I met him one time at Keller's. So all the old school girls that remember the Village and remember Keller's. Woo! It was a dive, but back in the day, like back in the 90s, I think I first went to Keller's in the late 80s, early 90s. And I probably stopped going, but periodically. I wasn't there. I might have been there maybe a handful of times, right? And it was always just to sit there and just chill by the window and talk to whoever I was talking to, whatever, right? But that's another story. And Jermaine Stewart, when I met him this particular day at Keller's, he was surrounded by, they were sitting near the video machine, wasn't a jukebox. It was like I think you could play Pac-Man or one of those games. What do they call them? What did they used to call them? Because they weren't I guess they were video games, but like, sort of like in a jukebox. I forgot. I'm getting older. Okay. But he was sitting in the center like a queen holding court. A beautiful queen. And I just remember Jermaine smiled at me. And I said hi. I said hi to him. And the way he did it was so feminine and so cunt and so sweet. And it was just sexy as hell. If I was a lesbian or into feminine gay men, I would have, because it was sexy the way he did it. It was just, he was giving me me. He was giving me my level of sexy and femme fatale. And he reached through the crowd of his handlers to shake my hand and smile. But it was so sweet and was so charming. But that's another story. So this child, Donnie, reminds me of Jermaine Stewart, right? And so, Donnie, yes, you're beautiful. But first of all, there's a few things that I want to talk about here. I believe that whole situation with the guy at the club happened? No, I don't believe that. Especially if it was a straight man. I don't, but it could have happened. I just don't believe it. I just believe that you made this whole thing up just to get attention and go viral. Which, hey, kudos to you. You've done that. Okay, you've done that, boo. You got that. So you're viral. But do I believe it happened? No, I really don't. I honestly, truly don't believe that happened. But that's neither here or there. But let's just say, play devil's advocate and say that did happen. I'm going to say this. Men that dress feminine presenting men, gay men, femme presenting gay men, or woman presenting gay men, they're not dressing that way per se. They're not dressing that way to attract gay men. And let's just keep it real. They're not dressing that way to attract gay men. They're dressing that way to attract straight men. I have been around gay men my whole life. And I know no matter what gay man I know, they're not the goal. I wouldn't say it's the goal to get straight men, but it's a fantasy that they have to turn a straight man gay, or at least open that door, because that door was opened for them by someone. And there is a lot of internalized hatred and internalized homophobia within a lot of gay men, which is why transphobia is so rampant in the gay community, right? So do I believe that this person, Donnie, is dressing this way to attract gay men? No. You know, I know that there are a lot of gay men who are in competition, and we see it with trans women. They feel like if the trans women can do it, if the trans women can do it, I can do it. If the trans men can get all these straight men, I can do it. But the problem is a lot of these gay men are calling trans women men and calling the men that are trans attracted gay. But when these same men are femme attracted, okay, or attracted to gay men, all of a sudden they're straight or bi-curious. You see how that works? They're angry and they're jealous of trans women. They're angry that trans women exist in their natural beings and bodies. And straight men are approaching us. Most trans women, we're not even thinking about men. I promise you. The trans women that I know, let me tell you something. Every fucking day I go outside. I'm in Midtown Manhattan every fucking day. Y'all have seen my videos. I get hit on every day by straight men. I don't have time. I don't even think about them like that. They make passes at me. They try to talk to me. I'm trying to get from A to B. Usually I have an attitude. I'm in a bad mood some days. I'm not even thinking about them. And when I look at them, you got to be talking, you got to come at me a certain way. I like men, alpha men, but I like men that I know have money. I'm not trying to be broke with you. And I'm not trying to sit in a closet with you. You know, I'm bitter. I'm going to say, I am bitter. I'm bitter when it comes to men because y'all have sat back for the better part of 10 years when we started to become visible. And instead of propping us up and pushing us up even more and protecting us, you did the opposite because of your fragile ego and your fragile masculinity. The fact that anybody would even assume that you were gay, you're crumbling. And you become this weak being. And so instead of protecting us and loving us and really affirming us to the world, you did the opposite. And you helped to try to oppress us and demonize us. And that's why we're where we at now. You didn't stand up and you were cowards. So, no, I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Y'all try to holler at me in the street. So, no. Okay? Y'all think we want these men and we don't. Most of us just want money. Because we know we're not because most of us know we're not gonna get the things that we need from these men. They don't protect anyone. They don't, and for all you biological women that be like, see, that's right. They don't protect y'all. They don't love y'all. I have to remind you too, because I see too many of y'all gloating in the comments. Be like, that's why these men don't want y'all. That's why these men don't protect y'all. That's why these men are unaliving y'all. Yes, these women are actually saying that. That's why they're bragging. That's why these men are unaliving y'all. And I have to remind them. They're unaliving you every 5 hours. Okay? They don't protect and provide for you. They're doing videos telling y'all that they don't want to even go half on a meal. They don't even want to pay for your meal. They want you to go half. And you're okay with that. Okay? These gay men, these biological females, are all fighting the trans women because they are worried about our proximity to these straight men. As soon as they found out how much these fucking straight men love us, they had to make up all these narratives. They needed an excuse as to why these men were attracted to trans women, and the only one that they could come up is, oh, they must be gay. It's tired. But let's just say this really happened to Donnie. Because according to Donnie, I think he said he was in a club. Some straight man was in a club, which I'm assuming is a gay club, and was kissing up on him. Now, Donnie identifies as a gay man. And he said this man was kissing up on him, was introducing himself to his friends, and a lot of other suspect things. And they spoke for a whole week and went on a date somewhere, and they sat in a car in broad daylight, I'm assuming, and the guy looked at Donnie and said that, asked him, are you a man? And he said yes. Keep in mind, Donnie, I think, introduced himself as Donovan. And the guy, the alleged guy, said that, I think at one point was looking at his TikTok or looking at one of his social media and said, you know, I like it when you shave or something to that effect. So here you have, you know, Donnie did this video pretty much just saying that this guy wasted his time and he was a little miffed about it. And rightfully so. And rightfully so. Do I believe that happened? No, but let's just play devil's advocate. And if this really did happen, he has a right to be angry or upset that you wasted his time. Because you're over there telling him that, I like it better when you shave. What woman are you going to tell that to? What woman do straight men tell that to? And say, hello? And his name is Donovan. He introduced himself as Donovan. Apparently the man said that that's not his zhuzh, that's not what he's into, and asked Donnie if he could take him home. And that was that. And then Donnie went to the internet and told his story, whether we believe it or not. You know, even though looking at all the videos that he's done since then, it's just like he just really is, he loves the attention and he was looking for attention. And the sad part is that, again, trans women who have nothing to do with the situation is being dragged. Okay? Let me tell you something. There's a few things. Donnie is like a lot of feminine gay boys now. And I've been saying they're trying to replace the trans. Never before in the history of man have we seen so many femme-presenting men that want to be considered trans without the actual transition and label. Because they've helped to create this anti-trans environment anyway. So they know they don't want to reap the negative responses to the trans label that they helped to create, the demonization of trans women. Okay? These gay men are really trying to replace the trans women, and they're doing it really in a very covert way. Because they're hiding behind a lot of the cis heterosexual biological females talking shit about the trans women while feminizing themselves in the way that trans women do. But, I'm just a man. They want the benefits of being called trans without the identity of it. This person, Donnie, is starting to use words like passable. How he believes that he's passable and can be passable. But, Donnie, passable as what? As a woman? So when that femme-presenting bullshit that you're talking about, I'm femme-presenting, no, you're trying to pass as a woman so that you can deal with straight men. You are not trying to appeal to a gay man, because gay men for decades have discriminated against anybody like you, and you know this. It's just the dishonesty for me. It really is. It's just dishonest. Y'all playing games, and who's gonna really get the brunt of the negativity that's gonna come out of this? Trans women. He's not dressing that way for no gay man. Period. Okay? But let's just say that his story is true. I'm going to tell y'all, so this is to the females, to the biological women, right? Females, I should say. The biological females. These men are playing, y'all. If you think that these niggas are not attracted to trans women, you're stupid. And the sad part is that y'all knew it when y'all would look at 15 years ago, when your gay friends were creeping behind the scene talking about, oh girl, these dudes they having sex with the trans girls. I see it all on XTube. I see they're having, all these trans girls are having the straight boys. They're having the trade. They're having the straight boys. And when y'all found out, first of all, when you found out that trans women can look the way we look, and then when you found out that all of these fucking dudes, a majority of them, not all, but a majority of them, were trans attracted, and not only trans attracted, they were experimenting and they were dating the girls openly and freely. Ask a trans girl from 15 years ago, especially if she was passable and she was pretty, ask her how it was 15 years ago. She's going to tell you, I went out on dates every Friday. Guys paid my bills. Guys wanted to do everything to please me in and out of the bedroom. Until the world caught on to our community. Because here's the thing, prior to that, it was just us and these straight men, quote unquote. Nobody was the wiser. It was us. And see, here's the thing. I have issues with the straight biological men, but I understand it. We were their secrets in the sense that we were theirs in their minds. We were I guess their secret, but then again, most of us weren't secrets back then. We were living out because it was safer to live out loud. And especially if you had a look and you were passing, it was safer. So these men were taking the girls out on dates to City Island in the Bronx. They were taking us to Mr. Chow's in LA. They were taking us to the Four Seasons to have dinner and lunch at the Four Seasons. They were doing that openly and freely. But something happened when we started to become visible. We had ops. And the ops were the gay men who were jealous because they were being rejected by the straight men and the females. Because they were automatically hating us. Because they said, how dare you look like that? How dare you? You know how many times women have said to me, your breasts are bigger than mine. You're prettier than me. Mind you, I haven't had any work done. Your breast is bigger than mine. Your ass is thick, naturally thick, and they start touching and trying to grope on me, and which I don't have. I have to be like, bitch, you don't touch me. And then once they became our ops, they, along with these coward men, trans-attracted men, all conspired to push us back in a closet with these straight biological men. And the sad part is that if you're trying to find the down low men now, ladies, you're not going to find them. Because since we're close to being, they're trying to erase us from public life. You think We're not gonna, if we go back into a closet, you don't think we're gonna sleep with these men and get their money and keep our mouth shut? You could have had a sisterhood. You could have had a real sisterhood with us, but you didn't do that. You did what you do with other females that you feel threatened by. So, getting back to this Donnie thing, and that's all I'm going to say about Donnie himself. Okay? Donnie's not doing all this, and they're starting to use language like passable and passing as a woman, even though I'm a gay man. They're using that language because they're trying to replace trans women. They're trying to change the narrative, and they're trying to condition the world to think that it's almost the same thing. Even though they try to say, oh, we are men, and we presented men as men, and we don't want to transition and be women. They're trying, because here's the thing, even in the minds of these gay men that are femme presenting, in their minds, they think trans women are men anyway. They think that's why they believe it's just like they can dress up and do the things that the trans girls are doing to get straight men. Because they believe that they should be able to have access to straight men because the trans women are doing. But here's what they don't realize is that trans women, there's a whole being. There's a whole thing that trans women are, especially the ones of most of us that have taken hormones and have developed our bodies, have the breasts, have the soft skin and the face and all that other stuff. You can never be what we are. You could never be what we are. Ever. Ever. There's the best of both worlds. You're just a gay man with a wig and some lashes. Cross-dressing. It's why most of the men that are trans attracted turn y'all down. And when they do that, instead of being mad at the man, you're angry with us as if we did anything. It's not our fault that you're cosplaying as us. Because you believe because we're having these men, you are entitled. Because, oh, by the way, y'all just men too. Y'all no different than us. But then you turn around and say, oh, I'm not attracted to trans women. They look like women. Those are women. But then, so what is it? Are we men or are we women? Because there are a lot of trans women that want to date gay men, but gay men aren't attracted to them. There's a few gay men that I think are beautiful. And one of them used to live in my neighborhood. Beautiful pink lips, very fashionable. I don't want to say who he is, even though most of y'all know who he is. And he's a nice guy. But, I didn't say I don't want to date him. But I think he's really attractive. He's beautiful to look at. But y'all do that because you know that the gay boys aren't even attracted to the trans women. But let's just go back. Let's just get into, so let me just say that last part. Yeah, they're not attracted. And so when you see men like Donnie that want to present like women, but identify as men, that's nothing but really for the most part them trying to be in competition with trans women. And it's all over men. And it's sad because, like I said, we don't even press it like that. We're not even on it like that. But I want my trans women to just sit back and watch how these gay men are moving. These feminine gay men are moving. There is a covert operation to replace you. Because they've dragged the whole trans thing into the ground. They've demonized us. They've played both sides. And they have demonized us so badly that they know. And they're cheering on the oppression of trans women. They're hoping it happens. Because that means if the trans women go away, then they'll be at the front of the class with these quote-unquote straight men that they want to fight and ruin our lives over. And it's sad and pathetic. And you will always be pathetic that you can't even be attracted to what you are. Because even the trans women, some of us that can look at some of you and be like, he's attractive and handsome and stuff like that, and see your worth and your beauty, why y'all can't? So y'all doing all this stuff and lying to biological women, pretending like you're their friends and you're their good Judies and best friends. Secretly, you're trying to be them too. So when the trans women are out of the way, then you're going to be... Because here's the thing. And I want to ask you biological females this. Do you honestly believe your gay bestie, if your fine-ass husband or baby father that's masculine as all get out, that's a straight, real nigga, hit on your best friend who is gay, do you honestly in your heart of hearts believe that your gay bestie is going to tell you? Knowing how a lot of gay men are and how boy crazy they can be, do you honestly think that your gay bestie is going to tell you that your man made a pass at him? Or do you believe that your gay man will do your gay best friend will do everything in his power to get that man, including paying him? They're not above paying him. A lot of you biological women have a gay bestie right now that is paying your man to give for them so that the gay man can give him head. Okay? When there's no trans women around, a lot of these dudes know that they can get money from these gay men because they know a lot of them are thirsty. That's where the whole gay for pay thing comes from. A lot of these men are doing that. But it's a certain type of man. The trans attracted men are probably the ones that are closest to being straight. Okay? They don't want nothing to do with anything that looks like... They don't want anything that looks or resembles a man. So, that's all I'm going to say about him. But let's just get on to the men. Because a lot of these men really operate like that. If this person, Donnie, is telling the truth, these men operate like that. I've had dudes, I don't want to say too much because y'all gotta know who I'm talking about, but I know dudes that are the head nurse in charge, if you know what I mean. They are the head nurse in charge. If you understand that, what is understood doesn't need to be understood. Whatever is understood, whatever that thing, whatever is understood doesn't need any explanation. Okay? There are men that have done videos with trans women with humongous pieces of meat that will come to each trans girl the same way, pretending like they're straight, pretending like they didn't know, pretending like they've never done this before, but then will turn around and stuff your whole meat down their throat and in their butthole. They will play games. I've never done this before. I've never done this before. You're my first. They play the trans girls against each other, and they do all these dumb, weird things. Okay? They do all the dumb, weird shit. And so, if Donnie is telling the truth, that's right on brand for these straight men, because they're so riddled with self-guilt and self-shame and shame and guilt that they don't know how to be themselves or love themselves and be comfortable in their own skin so that they can connect with us in a healthy way. That's why I don't deal with them. I don't deal with them. Okay? These guys are out here size queens. Okay? For all you that don't understand what a size queen, that's a man or a male or a female or whoever else. That is someone that is out here looking for someone with a huge penis, a huge member. A lot of these trans-attracted men, a lot of these down-low men are very that. Not only are they looking for a beautiful trans woman with big breasts and the whole fantasy, but they're looking for one with a humongous piece of meat. And after they get their hole worn and stretched out, they will turn around and lie and say that you tricked them when they get caught. They will lie and go to the next girl and say, oh, I've never been with a trans girl before. Meanwhile, less than 24 hours later, you just had your hole destroyed by a trans girl. Your hole is still open. It's still open, beloved. And it's sad. It's sad that they operate like this everywhere they go. Okay? Not only are, and to my females, not only are these men sleeping with the trans women and some of the gay boys, but they're actually going to them looking for big black cocks. They're looking for BBC. You like big dicks, so do they. You like sucking dick, so do they. I don't think I've ever met a quote-unquote straight man that didn't bottom in some way, whether it's top or giving head or anal. And y'all in that man's comments being transphobic to a gay man. You see what I'm saying? How messed up it is? They're being transphobic to a gay man. If you can tell that Donnie is a man, why do you think that man in that club wasn't able to tell? Y'all are dumb. And y'all gonna continue to get played by these men because you're holding on to this idea of them, this fantasy of them that just doesn't exist. The way you're fluid sexually, they're fluid. It's just that they have too much shame in their spirit to even share it with you. But let's keep it real. A lot of us know men that tell their wives and girlfriends. I know a guy in particular that all of his girlfriends knew that he was trans attracted. Now, I don't know whether he did that to try to manipulate them, to kind of control them. Okay, because a lot of these men are not, a lot of these females, I should say, y'all not leaving these men when you find out that they're trans attracted or bisexual or bi-curious or even gay. I see the way y'all hit on the gay boys. Nas from the Gram, even though he's toxic as fuck, is a beautiful looking gay man. Tim Bay. I think even though people say Tim Bay is the comedian, the internet, the Instagram comedian. Well, he does actual, comedic stuff. He does stand up and does shows around the country. So he's a comedian now. Tim Bay, even though he's a big boy, I think he has a beautiful face. When he's out of drag and take the wig off and he's clean shaven and starts smiling, that is a beautiful gay man. Okay? Let me just say this, and I'm going to leave this right here. Y'all need to wake up. Men are just as fluid as you are. They like what they like. And even though that they're riddled with a lot of shame and guilt, they are still out here playing, honey. They are still out here playing with the dolls. Playing with the gays. Okay? Like I said, even though a lot of the trans attracted men are not attracted to gay boys, so they're not playing with them. But you get, there's a small segment of that population that are very fluid. I know 2 men. I know 2 guys, and I have a story about both of them. 2 guys, straight black men, that both of them are in relationships with females now, but they both get their booty holes blown the fuck out by anybody with a dick. Y'all need to wake up.